Well, as you can see, everyone, the oven's still standing. The date today is the 22nd of June 2016, and I built it way back in 2011, so about 6 months worth of work. Now, if I remember rightly, I started work on the oven in June 2011. So here's me with a lot less grey hair than I have now, and you can see that I'm laying the Besa bricks. So this is the plinth or the base of the oven, and I've sped the footage up. This took me about 3 weekends. It was a learning curve because I'd never laid bricks before. These are just cement bricks. They're also known as cinder blocks. So I'm just making sure that I've got a nice consistency of cement there, or mortar, I suppose it's better known as. It's sand and cement powder and lime. I think it comes in a pre-mixed bag. So I haven't done anything fancy with the base. It's just on the concrete floor. I'm just making sure it's level as we go through all the way along. That's the first layer, so I think I got that done in about 2 hours, and then put the second one on. I just kept building it up and up. Now, I didn't use the normal method at the back. I just butted them against the 3 long supports of the oven. The reason I did that was because the bricks weren't designed to overlap like that at the ends, because you'd have a little bit sticking out at the end, and you wouldn't have any half bricks. So I thought that once we got the weight on of the oven, it wouldn't move off, and that's been okay. I haven't had any problems with the back part of the oven. It hasn't split away from the 3 main supports. So we've nearly finished the final 4th layer of bricks. There it is there. I'm laying a bit of mortar on top now because we're going to put the base on. So these are 60 by 60 centimetre cement pavers. So I used 4 of those. Left a bit of space at the front for a piece of marble. And yeah, all right, cob oven cover boy. I think I had tickets on me on myself at the time. Anyway, so I'm putting a little bit more mortar there, and I'm putting some extruded clay bricks just for a little bit more thermal mass underneath the oven. And I recovered these bricks from a path that I had originally pulled up ages ago. And then I put some sand just to fill the holes of the bricks, and then I laid down these are ordinary clay pavers. Contrary to popular belief, you don't need fire bricks for an oven this sort. It doesn't get hot enough. It only gets up to about 600 Celsius, whereas those clay bricks there were fired at about 1,000 degrees Celsius, so they'll never crack. I haven't had any issues with them so far at all. So I put a bit of sand in the gaps there, as you can see. Now I'm making the arch. These are solid clay bricks. And I made an arch out of some plywood and a spacer, just as a guide, a bit of a mould, and I'm just filling those in. The bricks I'm holding in place with sticks of wood, just so they form that arch shape. And at the very top, I've got the 2 top bricks actually have quarter bricks, so that I could fit the flue over the top. There's a hole underneath. So I invited the Melton Sustainable Living group around to give me a hand to do the sand base or the sand mould. and then they help put the first layer of cob on. So I actually, over the sand mould, I put wet newspaper so we could have a layer there that we could distinguish when I'm pulling the sand out, so I didn't go too far. So we're putting the first layer of cob just in the form of logs all the way around the oven. And you can see they're doing pretty good work. What you don't see in the background is myself and another friend stomping all of the straw and the sand and the clay together. And then we just patted that down, the first layer, and then we wet our hands and smoothed it over. So the actual base of the oven is 1.2 by 1.2 meters. That's what the pavers all put together are. So it's a fairly wide oven, which is really good. The opening itself is about 400 mils, so that's 40 centimeters. And you'll see that in a second. So we smoothed out the first layer there. All very happy with our accomplishments. And as you can see at the front there, the clay, we put the clay all the way over the arch. And then the next day I removed the sand from the oven and then got rid of all that, put it in a garden bed somewhere. And you can still see the newspaper inside. Now, from the many books I read, the first thing I did was put a small fire in the oven just to help set that initial layer. Now we skipped the second layer. There is a second layer, but I've only got photos of the third layer. And I modified the 2 pieces of ply into a door. Just put some, that's a bit of angle iron shelving brackets. And we got around to cooking our first pizza after we had the third layer on. Now, subsequently, I actually put 2 more layers of cob on. Very proud of my first pizza there, as you can see. We put 2 more layers of cob on, and then we put a cement render. I probably wouldn't do that now. I've got further instructions in the ebook that I wrote on what you should do now. Kim put some lovely mosaics on, and then we put a terracotta grout. And it's holding up quite well. So this was way back in 2011. This is November 2011 when we finished it. It's about 4 months worth. So what does it look like now? Well, this was 2 years ago this footage was filmed, and I was just about to start a pizza party. And you see there's some superficial cracking on the cement render layer where the oven heats up, the clay heats up, expands, but the concrete doesn't. You can see there's no, the flue is all good, it's all intact. A little bit of cracking around the back there. But that's only on the outer layer, it doesn't go all the way through the oven. So it's only cosmetic. The oven performs quite well still, functions perfectly, and certainly has exceeded all of my expectations. One good looking oven. So there's a crack on that side as well, but as I said, it only goes through the cement render layer. There's a chooky in the background. So there's the inside. You can see the first layer is a little bit cracked as well, but like I said, that doesn't go all the way through. And you can see where the shapes of the logs are. Very interesting to see how it's formed. So nice clean oven before we start. We'll light a fire up. You can see that none of the arch bricks have fallen down. None of the clay pavers at the bottom that make the base of the oven have cracked at all. And the flue, the stainless steel flue, which was probably the most expensive part of the oven, hasn't rusted through or anything. And yeah, it works really well. And we've got a bit of a marble top. A friend gave me a piece of marble, and I put that where we rest the pizzas. Anyway, so we're lighting the fire inside the oven just initially. Very small, little bits of kindling. So when we do create the fire in the oven, we actually have to do a 3-hour burn, and that way the heat absorbs into the clay, into the thermal mass, creates a thermal mass for you, so you can cook your pizzas and bake, roast meats and vegetables, or even bread a little bit further down the track after you've waited a few hours. But definitely it gets to so we increase the size of the fire and we start to push that towards the back of the oven, because what we want is the flames to cover and go over the top of the oven and then out of the flue. And that way we'll saturate the internal clay with heat. So this is about an hour, maybe two into the burn. I've started to put some hardwood into the oven to get a nice steady burn and lots of coals, because the coals are essential, especially when you're cooking pizza. You need some coals at the side of the oven, and you pop the pizza in the middle. So you can see there's a little bit of steam coming out, because what happens because of the cement cracks, the clay absorbs moisture. So when the oven starts to heat up, all the moisture escapes through the cracks. So it's just steam venting out there. It's certainly not smoke or any heat like that. You can actually still touch the outside of the oven. So this is after, I think it's about 3 hours. So you can see that the oven's ready to cook in, because the soot on the inside has all turned white. So that's a good indication that your oven's ready. And you can see it's now night time. I've been burning for quite a while. There's lots of nice hot coals in there, all ready to cook. So I've pushed the coals either side, and then I've cleaned the bottom of the oven with a scuffle. Scuffle is just a rag on a stick that's dipped into some cold water, and then you just clean the bottom of the oven, so you can place your pastry on it. You can see there that behind my silly head, you can see my dad. He came down for my birthday party and gave me a hand. So on this evening I cooked, I think it was 25 pizzas in 2 hours. So the oven holds its heat. There's my son Adam and my friend Dave. Adam's cutting the first pizza out of the oven. Anyway, there it is. It still survives. It's a very good pizza oven. Don't forget, you can get your copy of Build Your Own Backyard Clay Oven, in which I document the entire process on how to build this amazing clay oven. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and check out one of our other videos, planting snow peas. Thanks for watching. See you next time.